Hey, good morning, everybody. Lord's blessings to you today as you get ready to faith another week. And we're going to faith it together with the Lord and with His Word. Paul has, I think in Philippians, he made a comment. He said, "For me to live is Christ." In other words, he said, if I live, that means Christ is here working through me, and, and Christ is active as well. In Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, he says, "I'm crucified with Christ." He says, "Nevertheless, I live." And he says, "Yet it's not I, but it's Christ who lives in me." So Paul certainly had this concept that Christ was his life. And I talked about that yesterday. You've heard many people describe their salvation experience maybe in so many different ways. You've heard it talked about as a burden being lifted. You may have heard it talked about as a great peace that came upon them. You may have heard it talked about as that there was this joy that filled their heart and this filled their life, or it may have been that it just was like there was something missing that was finally complete. But ultimately, what it was is that they became alive, really alive, not just alive physically, but they came alive spiritually. And you see, that's the real difference, is that God, through Christ, puts life into our souls and we become alive. That's why Paul could say, "For to me to live is Christ, and nevertheless the life that I live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God." So in Colossians chapter 3, um, it's just a little statement here. Verse 4, Paul says, when Christ, who is our life, appears. He says, when Christ, who is our life, appears. In other words, he's saying Christ is our life. Christ is the one who gives us life, spiritual life, eternal life. He is our life. What does it mean to be alive or versus dead to God as we live in this world? So when I'm alive to God, I can actually hear from God. When I'm alive to God, He can show me His things. He can show me His ways. He can speak to me through His words. When I'm alive to God, I can live in a relationship with God, and He can guide me and He can lead me. It's very spiritual and it's very difficult to explain. But there are so many ways in my life that God has just met my needs. He has spoken to my heart. He has spoken in my mind. He has shown me things. He has told me things. He has given me directives, and He has guided me. And the only way that He could do that is because my soul and my spirit were alive to Him, and they were alive to Him through the gospel of Jesus Christ, through the death, burial, and the resurrection of Christ, and by faith entering into a relationship through that, by becoming alive. See, we used to be dead in our trespasses and sins, but now we are alive through Christ, alive to God and alive to the things of God. So when Christ, who is our life, appears, he says, then you will also appear with Him in glory. That when Christ comes again, we're going to be just like Him because we have the same life that He has inside of us now. Hey, get out there, faith the rest of this day, faith the rest of this week. God bless you guys. Love you. Bye.